right, so we are S2E1.
Is this S2E1?
It is.
Wow. Welcome back, guys. Look at this. Everyone brought their A game already.
Yeah.
What? No, they haven't. They're just sitting here.
Where is Ted Danson? Isn't he going to be here for season?
He should. Listen. That's true. No, I saw that. No,
You
he
want to start
actually...
with... What do you
Man on the
mean?
Inside.
Oh, he's got his own show?
Oh, yeah. I just watched season 1 on Netflix.
Oh, isn't he like in a nursing home or
Yeah,
something?
he plays a guy who goes undercover in an old age
How old is
home.
he?
He's 78. I mean, he's
so he can play the part.
Oh, for sure.
Beautifully.
And they
What do
have
you mean
to
undercover? He's a cop?
Well, no, they just don't know that he's a private eye. He was hired. He didn't do that professionally. A private eye needed an old person to go in and try to solve a mystery of who stole a necklace. Or who misplaced a necklace.
In those kind of places,
It's a
necklace
sitcom,
gets
so
stolen.
it's not so much about the mystery. That was just sort of what they call the MacGuffin, right? Hitchcock would call the MacGuffin. That's just something to get the action in motion, like a suitcase bomb. It's not really about that. It's just something to get the story
I
going.
bet that could be very funny in nursing.
I thought it was funny. I watched the whole first season. You know who was in it?
Wait, you've seen it
I started.
already?
Already. Sally Struthers. Haven't seen her since her All in the Family
alive?
days. She's alive. She's like 78 also. She's up there, close to 80. And it was nice seeing her again.
Speaking of alive, we can't not address the tornado that just hit.
I think we have to talk about the tornado.
You two seem to have escaped unscathed.
Did I? I don't believe
really?
I got.
Oh well.
I don't believe I escaped
you are
unscathed.
Collateral damage
Yes, he was.
from
Wait a
my.
second. I don't know if I would call that
experience.
Why don't you talk about what happened to you first, and then I'll throw in what you're calling collateral damage. I'm just calling damage.
Yeah. Well, actually, so I have a friend who I lived in New York for many years, and I have a friend who's probably lived in New York City for 25, 30 years. And we make fun of him all the time because he was in Ireland on September 11th, and we were all there. And, he's a New Yorker, and for him to have missed this sort of seminal New York, I don't want to call it experience because I don't want to belittle what happened. It was a horrible, horrible day.
It's like somebody who didn't go to World War II.
Yeah, so we kind of joke all the time that, Josh was in Ireland, whatever. And I was on Friday, I was in the Las Vegas airport actually, and it was a very interesting experience because I get there and my flight's about to board and I'm like, oh, it's delayed. That's weird. What's going on? Because the incoming flight's on time. So I start asking questions. I was like, oh, maybe there's weather in St. Louis. I look. And so that starts this sort of, there's weather. Oh, wait, tornado alert. And so I'm watching this all unfold in real time via sort of weather apps and texts and photographs. And it was very strange to be away from home when this major event is happening. I'm texting and calling the babysitter who's home with our 3-year-old, and Steph, my wife, was substitute teaching at the middle school that day. And I'm, there's no service there, and I'm sort of getting bits and pieces. Are you okay? We can't get a hold of my daughter to see if Captain School is still standing. And it was just a crazy, surreal experience. And then I get home Friday night after it's all passed. I went straight and stayed with my dad's, but then on Saturday morning, went into my neighborhood, and it was... it's
devastated.
So crazy to see your home and your neighborhood looking like this.
Covered in trees. I've seen the footage on Steph's Instagram.
But like 200-year-old massive trees on rooftops, on top of cars.
And your garage got hit.
Yeah, not terrible, but I think I probably need a new roof, not just shingles, probably need a whole new roof. Yeah. But that's fine. I mean,
a lot of your neighbors took on some pretty bad damage.
Oh my gosh. I mean, and the Central West End and then the North Side. The crazy thing is,
there they are now.
You know who that is? One of our cars was crushed by a tree, and that's a car dealer because I need a new minivan.
Which car?
Minivan.
I didn't even know you had a minivan. That one got crushed?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's totaled. So it's just been a lot, but it really seems like this tornado may have started really close to, if not at the top of my block.
It seems like
it's
it did.
right
yeah.
there.
Well, I
And
think
then,
they said it kind of ran along Y down, and you're kind of right behind that.
oh my God,
So,
Y down is apocalyptic.
It really, and that's a shame. It's one of the prettiest streets in all of St. Louis. That ride up and down Y down, in between like Big Bend and Clayton,
Yeah.
or Hanley rather, Hanley and Big Bend.
Hanley
That's
is-
one of the prettiest
it's really,
little places to
they'll
drive.
fix it up. It'll look
I
nice.
know, but those trees, you can't replace
Right.
trees
You
that are
can't,
hundreds of
but,
years
you know,
old.
the houses weren't. You know how you see these pictures of tornadoes where just everything's flat.
Yeah.
I think the brick building.
Yeah, the brick
material-
held up better.
No. I mean, if you look at what happened on the north side,
No, that's different.
Well, that's because
That's the
they
north side.
don't. Somebody told me because people aren't able to keep their houses tuck pointed.
Yes,
they were-
that they were much more
Devastated.
vulnerable.
They were vulnerable for sure. Well, what I lost to the tornado was my my Jeep Gladiator, which I had lent to your sister.
Yeah.
This is true story. I had lent it to her, and she's borrowed it before, but this time she'd only had it maybe a day or two.
Yeah.
And it was Friday. I was flying on Friday up to Minnesota because, Brody, for those who follow, he graduated from college this weekend.
Congratulations.
So we'll send a shout out to my boy who's in the studio audience today. And I thought you were joking at first. You send me a text, bad news, but your Jeep got crushed in the tornado.
No. I would never have done that over text. I picked up the phone.
Oh, you did?
Like
You
a
called
man,
me?
and I called you.
And I
gonna
said,
text
send
you
me
that.
a picture.
Yeah.
And he sent me a picture. And, it's the craziest thing because it's the back. It's the bed that took the tree. So you have this, because it's not that old of a car. The whole front, the engine is perfect.
I don't think it's
I could
totaled.
sell that entire engine.
I've changed my mind. I don't think it's totaled.
I don't know. I mean, you've seen it
Unless
in
there's
person. I've
frame
seen the
damage.
picture. The problem is just the number of pieces that need to be replaced.
Yeah.
I think at a certain point you start adding up an
Don't
entire.
you think they just have another bed to put
Maybe,
in?
but that ain't cheap.
I don't know.
Hard
Listen,
to say.
My thought, when there is a lot of damage to a car, you always hope it's totaled.
Pretty much. I think that's probably true. Anyway, I sent it off to my insurance company. I haven't heard anything back yet.
You've got to get an estimate.
Well, they're probably
you're
getting
State Farm as well.
State Farm, yeah, they're getting slammed.
I'll walk you through. What to do, because it's not. That it's not very user friendly. I shouldn't say not user friendly. They don't explain well the process.
Well, they don't want you. They don't want to pay.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to make it particularly easy for you.
That is, in fact, the process.
Well, they
That is the
make
process,
it.
right.
It's weird.
It's how can we
How do we
avoid
bury this?
and get out of this as cheaply as possible? Which does dovetail.
That's right.
Into what we do for a living.
Yeah,
Well,
they
let me
know.
say this. I know we're going to see a lot of that. We're going to get a lot of calls because there are going to be a lot of people who have issues dealing with insurance. A question of, is that covered?
It's tough, and there's not much we can do about it. I mean, there's only so much you can do when you're talking about largely property damage claims.
Right.
And I don't want to talk government because I don't think that they're going to help out at all on the federal side.
I don't know what's going to happen because you always hear that FEMA has largely been dismantled.
They've been dismantled. I mean, they weren't in a position to help in Arkansas. And they just had the tornadoes come through, and they've been criticized, and I think financially they've been gutted. So yeah, I'm not expecting them to do anything to help. Hopefully, maybe it's an opportunity. Maybe some of the area in the north, I would love to see that get rebuilt and nicer because it was aging. It was. Now, the area on Wind Down, it's a shame because that area was pretty well perfect.
But there's so many people on the north side who are, dislocated, living in cars, have no ability
that's
to.
horrific.
I just don't know how it's all going to unfold. I think that as a city, everyone is going to have to come together. I mean, selfishly, I haven't had a minute to think of how I can help anyone because I'm dealing with.
Well, I think, listen,
my
when
own
these things
damage,
happen, don't you feel like there should be an immediate response where, like, the government is able to,
of course,
to come in and buy out a couple of hotels, basically book at whatever you don't have.
Yeah.
I'm going to book these out. This is an emergency. Get everybody who's been displaced at least set up somewhere where they have shelter.
Well, that's what FEMA does.
Yeah,
But there is no FEMA.
Well, you have to fund these things, and it takes a lot of money to buy out hotels and to get people into safety. And it's the kind of money, like, you can't expect regular people to have that kind of money just sitting in their bank account. We know most people don't have that. We got to come. That's what it is to live in a society.
Well, that's the other thing is, even if it was set up like that, and you had to pay through your insurance, it takes weeks to talk to anybody in insurance to even
and
get
where
it
are you going to
paid.
sleep that night?
Right.
You know,
No,
things need to be handled immediately.
A lot of people are, I mean, just staying in their homes if they're habitable, or probably staying in their homes even if they are.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of these people don't have power. I don't know if they had their power restored. How is
No.
Then it's not habitable.
My neighborhood is, all you hear is gas generators and.
Yeah, so it's not really habitable.
No, not really. And it's kind of creepy at night being in that, you know, I don't want to say war torn, but it almost looks war torn. It looks like a bomb went off.
Yeah.
You know, why don't everyone uses that expression, right? It looks like a war torn. Why doesn't it go the other way? I mean, there have been way more tornadoes than there have been wars. Why doesn't the expression go the other way? When we see
war?
No, when we see
Looks like a
war,
tornado.
we say, "My God, it looks like a tornado came
Yeah,
through
well,
here,"
you hear
instead
people
of the
say
other
that.
way around. Well, why don't we just use that here, since that's exactly what happened?
Looks like a
tornado
it
came
doesn't look
through
like
here.
a tornado came through. A tornado did come through. That's what
I'm
actually
saying.
happened.
And therefore it looks just like it.
Yeah.
Now, just to switch topics, just because you were in
Are
Vegas.
you switching topics to maybe eating?
Well, I don't know that we have sandwiches yet.
Oh, we don't?
Do we?
What's all that?
Where are they? Well,
Yeah,
I don't see anything in the oven. Normally you have them.
I know. It's,
For
you
the
know,
first
let's get some
time I
sandwiches
didn't
here.
eat
Jesus
before
Christ.
I
give me
came
a
here.
little
Me
bit
too.
of grace since
We brought our appetites. Just start
Yeah.
handing them sandwiches.
here. You
so
know what?
anyway,
I'm going to go
while
turn
we're
on
waiting-
the toaster oven.
Well, I don't know. I mean, at this point, I think we just have to start eating. We didn't even tell the crowd where we're getting our sandwiches from today, but I believe, what is this place called? Yapi's? Yapi's what? Yapi's Mediterranean sandwiches.
We didn't tell the crowd.
Yeah, the crowd, I'm sorry. Listen, we're just getting our feedback. This is episode 1 of season 2. We're going to be featuring Yapi's Mediterranean.
Andy jumped into the crowd. They're passing him along on their hands. What do they call that?
A mosh pit?
No, but stage diving or
Yeah.
Andy, what do they call it when you jump into a crowd and they move you along on their hands? What do you call that?
That's crowd surfing.
Crowd surfing.
Surfing.
Yeah.
I just said it
Not to be confused with swag surfing.
to the crowd.
Okay. I don't know what that is.
What is swag surf?
You know, that's the whole. You've seen it.
Okay. Now this place, Yapi's Mediterranean.
Yeah.
I looked at their menu. I don't know what we have selected, but it looked like it was filled with all sorts of great Euro combinations and
Steven, what's this one? You said try this one first.
that's
Yapi,
the
okay.
Yapi.
It's a
Okay, this
Yapi.
bears their
Going
name.
Straight.
It looks like a cheesesteak with some cucumbers and some banana peppers
It
on
might
it.
be. I don't know.
It's also the name of a little dog that barks a lot.
Yeah, it could also have.
What is that?
Yeah, we want all of it,
Sure,
man. What
I'm
the?
hungry.
Excuse me. F-bomb. Edit it out.
No, we don't use that kind of language.
Not
Not on this show.
If we wanted French fries. If there's ever
Oh
been
no,
a
that's not a
rhetorical-
Euro. That's like more of a.
Like a
You wanna know
kebab.
what's on it?
Yeah, I'd love to know what's on it.
Okay. Oh my.
Yapi on a fresh hoagie bun with a house sour cream spread, topped with onions, served with fries.
Okay, so it's a chivapi.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like a sausage.
Yeah.
It's ground meat,
Delicious.
seasoned, and then reformed into, in this case, kind of a large piece. This looks very good. I'm gonna jump. Did you take a bite yet?
It's good.
I'm jumping in.
Good fries.
That's substantial.
Looks good.
Where, if one wanted to go to Yappi's, where would they find
Yeah,
it?
where's Yappi's?
Hampton, maybe?
No, Benjamin.
Denver? Where?
Pass me all the napkins.
It's on Hampton.
Oh, it is on Hampton.
Thank you.
That's excellent. Now, I know we're eating
South Benjamin Avenue.
17 South Vandervetter. That's where you go to Yappi's. Now, this is outstanding. This is their chivapi. This is the one they call the Yapi.
There seems to be some dispute. We still think it's on Hampton. We'll have to. You know what?
Well, he has two different addresses.
What? Do they have two
Could
locations?
be two different locations.
Those are awfully close to each other if those are two different locations, but you never know.
Yeah,
This could be their hotspot. Maybe they just moved and they have an old and a new, but I think we need to
that's
get
possible.
Would you like to hear about my tornado experience.
Did you have one? Because I was going to ask him about Vegas, but if you've got tornado, we can stay on tornado.
I was on the hill. Storm hits. My daughter's not there, so I call looking for my daughter. She tells me she's in her basement, where she lives in an apartment.
That's very good.
Mm-hmm.
And she said she just heard her ears just popped. And she heard a big, like an explosion or a big noise. I said, don't worry, I'm watching TV right now. There are no tornadoes where you are. They have not said any tornado. Phone goes dead. I keep calling. I finally get a hold of her. She says, no tornado. I say, no tornado. Nobody has said anything about a tornado. She says, I'm coming out of the basement now. I'm going to take a look. The next I hear her screaming, and she's screaming, saying, the front of my building's gone. The front of my building's gone. And I say, Lucy, and the phone goes dead. So I don't know what to do. I keep calling her back. I can't. So I get in the car, and I head over to Clayton, where she is. Never get there. All the streets are blocked by trees. Eventually, I'm gone like 2 hours trying to get in. Can't get in. I then get a call from Andy when I get back to the house. I don't know where Stephanie is. Go to the house. I get back in the car. I go, get to his house. When I get a call from Stephanie saying, we're in the car headed to your house. So I was 3 hours in the car trying to help, and I never helped anybody.
And what's the lesson there?
Sometimes the best of intention leads to no productive result.
Like, I definitely think there's a lot of lessons in that very short story.
Yeah.
For one, don't trust the internet. You're looking at it, it's telling you no tornadoes, and she's literally losing the front of her building at the same moment.
Yeah.
So to hell with the information you're getting. It's all immediately outdated when it comes to a tornado. They just move too fast.
Yeah.
And then also, you probably should have stayed in, although as a parent, it's hard to not want to go out and try to help your child if you think there might be a problem.
It was a wild, tornadoes happen, but I think everyone has this thought, well, it won't happen in my neighborhood. In fact, I have a friend who, and we've had this conversation before, probably on the podcast, but if not, I've asked it on our weekly meeting, who goes into the basement when the tornado sirens go off? Because I always go. And I have a friend who's like, oh, that's stupid. I never go. And I knew that about him. And I was getting these texts like, no, this is real. So I text him on call. I'm like, dude, go into the basement. This isn't the one to be cavalier about. He's like, oh, trust me. It's obvious that we need to be in the basement. Apparently it was really, you're in a tornado. I'm guessing once it gets to that point.
And apparently there's another warning that they give you when you are really there. Because somebody had said that they got some kind of alert saying that they had 2 minutes to get into
your phone, on their phone?
Yeah. They got something that said you have 2 minutes to get into safety.
Did your phone go off?
I never got a message
Vegas.
like that. So anyway, speaking of Vegas, you went to Vegas.
Yeah.
What was in Vegas?
So I went to see a Dead and Company, which is the sort of latest incarnation of the Grateful Dead, at a venue called the Sphere. You've been there, and you've been there. You've both been there.
You've been to the Sphere? It's fabulous.
Who'd you see?
I saw U2.
I saw the Eagles.
I would have rather seen the Eagles, although U2 did a nice job.
I can't imagine anything was better than Dead and Company. And I'll tell you why. It's actually kind of fascinating. First of all, it is one of the most mind-blowing experiences of your life to be there. You just cannot prepare yourself for how just insane and overwhelming the experience is. What's interesting is the Grateful Dead are probably one of the most analog bands of all time. Just sort of, it's a very hippie culture and being outside in person. It's not a digital or electronic kind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what's interesting is they came from that and have arguably become in the Sphere, one of the most cutting edge, technologically cutting edge bands of all time now.
Well, yeah, if you're in the Sphere, I mean,
Yeah.
the graphics.
And the reason I say I'm not sure anything could compare to Grateful Dead, Dead and Company is because there has been this sort of over the years, these images, these symbols, iconography that go along with the band. They have the dancing bears and the steal your face and the lightning bolt. So there's a lot
To
of
incorporate, yeah.
That's right. And so and it's sort of all developed and evolved over the years, but it's all handwritten and hand drawn and the skeletons. And so now for all of that is associated with the band and a part of the culture of the band to now come to life, I just don't know that there's another band that has
that's a good
much
question.
built
What about
in.
historically? When you think about all of the bands that have existed, if you could see any of them in an atmosphere like the Sphere, somebody that you feel is going to take full advantage of the technology and really do something special with it. It doesn't have to be a band. I guess it could be a solo artist. Dead or alive, yeah, no, and I think mostly dead. Well, the Beatles for sure. I mean, they did so much because of the films they made and the animation and stuff. I think they would have done some great stuff. I think we could agree that a showman like Michael Jackson, who was really always ahead on the technology with his choreography, with his videos, you have to imagine he would have come up with something that would have just blown the world away.
Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, I just,
Like a band like Daft Punk, maybe.
Ooh, that's a good pick.
Because it's sort of futuristic.
Yeah,
You know what, actually, I don't know how this would work, but Devo was sort of pseudo-futuristic, the band Devo.
Yeah.
And I could see
they had
that
the
being
hats.
like weird LCD sound system, maybe. Like sort of an electronic band might be cool. Although, if you look up Drew Carey's reaction to Fish at the Sphere, he is not a fan of Fish, never
we
really
should get
listened
another
to him,
sandwich here, actually.
didn't
I think
know
so
the
it times
music
correctly.
and his reaction was
He was blown away.
blown away,
I have
overwhelmed,
not
nothing.
watched- Here, you got. Which one is this, Brooke?
It is, I think, the Philly. No. The
but see that's what I found. The star of the show is not the band.
No,
The star of the show is the Sphere,
yes,
and everybody who goes in there, you put yourself in the hands of filmmakers.
That's Buffalo? There's nothing about that that looks remotely Buffalo. Okay, well, listen, just because it doesn't look it doesn't mean it's not
looks like
so.
almost barbecue buffalo.
It does. Well, one bite will... Okay, pulled chicken. Okay, let's see what we're looking at here.
That's good.
Mm,
That's good.
that is buffalo pulled chicken.
Immediate satisfaction.
Wait, what does that taste exactly like that I've had before?
I was thinking the same thing. I can't put my finger on it, but it does taste like something.
Yeah, it tastes exactly like something. Something good.
It has creamy ranch and provolone cheese, and it's buffalo sauce, slow cooked.
Okay. We got to
great.
figure out what that is.
I know there's a very familiar, it could just be a very familiar spice.
No, it feels more familiar than that.
What is that?
Terry, are you experiencing that as well?
No,
A familiarness?
You know what?
it's good, but
This is not what you were going to think, but I think it's giving Vegemite.
Yeah, that's not where I mean, I'm not Australian or anything, but
No,
you eat a lot of Vegemite?
I don't.
you know what that is?
Yeah, it's stuff that they serve you in Australia.
Right.
Like in a can.
No, in a jar. I think it's
Jars
like
can.
peanut butter.
Yeah. Yeah, it's giving Vegemite to me. So anyway, the Sphere, if you have an opportunity to go there, I would go see a puppet show there.
And that's
created
but
by
that's the whole point.
5-year-olds.
Because
Yeah.
the show is the Sphere.
Of course.
And frankly, I think they could do any of these
Oh, yes.
without anybody on the stage because you're so far away, you can't see any of the performers.
Oh, I think you could do full out shows that are just, they could just be pumping the music in.
Well, did you ever like at the planetarium, and planetariums all over. They have
Laserium.
the Pink Floyd or those kind of experiences. That was really sort of the precursor.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't see.
It's the same
It's just the
thing
video
on a much
made-
grander scale.
Yeah, the video is.
Now, did you notice with the sphere when you first go in there, you look up, and like how long did it take before you realized that the top part was a screen and that those birds were not actually birds inside the place? They were just on the video.
I couldn't see the screen, but it's funny because there was a guy from Rockland County, a couple seats over, who had been there before. Or no, he knew a lot about it. And we were all kind of joking. I was like, well, wait, that's got to be real over there. He's like, no, it's all a screen. It's all a screen, dude. It's all a screen. And so it kind of became a joke. Wait, no, that has to be all a screen. Yeah, because the top of the inside of the sphere, the outside of the sphere is like 30 feet higher. I mean, it's all indoors. I mean, even when you just walk in, before you walk into the actual, like when you're in the lobby, when you first get into the just lobby, you look around and you're like, oh my God.
It's amazing that there are people that we know how to build things like that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
2-point-something billion.
But I mean, when you look at it, it doesn't surprise me to hear that. But when you look at it, you think, wow, that's pretty cool. We still have it in us to build something like real. I mean, we've done incredible things virtually on computer, but it's been a while since we like put together something physical, tangible.
Yeah.
That was really impressive.
And isn't that why the terrorists hate us?
Yeah.
I love when people talk about the terrorists.
Everyone.
Like, who are the terrorists?
I feel like we hate us. You know, we hate us. Half of us hate the other half, and half of us hate the other half back.
It was.
I mean, there's a lot of hate going around.
Yes.
But I think we could all agree that the
something-
sphere is magnificent.
Oh, yeah.
We got to
really
focus
is.
on the things we could agree on. What you got there, Brooke? Another sandwich? Oh, crispy chicken.
Oh,
Now
okay.
we're talking. I mean, all of these have been outstanding. I just two for two so far, and I would definitely go to this place regularly.
Yeah, that's very good.
And we're still
anyway,
getting
so
our
that
energy
was-
back, guys. Remember, this is episode 1 of season 2. You know, you can't just expect we
What
snap
did you
back
do
in.
over the summer?
You mean over the winter? That's when we take our
Oh,
breaks.
that's right.
Yes.
What did you do over the winter?
We just sat around waiting for you to get back from Florida.
That's right.
Just so you know, that's why we didn't do episodes. I said, if we don't have Terry back, we're not recording. And they said, well, we could do it via satellite and whatever. But, you know, that's not organic. You always wind up hesitating, and it's just not the way we communicate.
Always get a little sick to my
I am
stomach
just
on
getting
that.
reports that Jerry Crowder is walking around my neighborhood talking to people in
Right
a
now?
full suit.
Oh, you know, because don't talk to him. Don't trust him. He works for the
That's
insurance companies.
weird.
He's
Don't you
working
think
for the
there-
insurance
Don't
companies.
you think there are going to be lawsuits after what the mayor said?
What'd the mayor say?
Well, that's the city.
It was
though.
her fault.
She took blame for the tornado?
No.
Well,
for
for
the
the-
fact the sirens didn't go off.
They didn't go off?
Not in parts of the city on time, I think.
Well, that might make a difference for the fatalities. There's no way to prevent the property damage. Thanks.
But the fatalities.
I know. Well, that's just tragic.
I mean, wouldn't that be a?
I don't know much about them because they didn't publish it, at least
If
as far as
somebody
I
was
could see. I couldn't
seriously
tell
injured,
where they were, how old they were, if they were related.
where the sirens didn't go off, and the mayor has just said it was a human error.
Yeah. Now, listen, I take that case. I mean, literally, talk about it. You had a one-job situation. They just did that full test last week. Remember, last Monday, they ran the sirens for like an hour.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or it wasn't even Monday, it was Thursday. It was Thursday. It was the day that we had lunch together at the...
I can't believe the tornado sirens are just, waiting for somebody to just push a button.
Apparently, they were.
Yeah.
Just like the nuclear weapons.
I guess.
You know where we went Friday for lunch? We went to Bailey's Range. You know, the Bailey's moved and they're right down the road from here.
Yeah.
Really?
It's a really nice place.
It's the same menu, you know, all that good stuff.
Did they
we used to get.
close? I guess the one downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we went to that one.
Is there anything open downtown?
Not a lot.
Where did we used to go across the? What was the name of that place? Pickles.
Pickles across from the office?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if
They were there
that's
for a
all.
little while.
Oh.
No, they've been long gone.
I got something that I've been
Wait,
holding this one
pickles?
for a while. Wasn't that across the
Oh.
street?
Yes, there was a Pickles.
And
was also a Monty's.
Taze.
Don't even talk.
And Monty's, remember Monty's was
Oh,
there
yeah.
for a while? I think Pickles took over that location.
Tell me when you're ready to have your mind blown.
Okay, but I can't eat anymore. I'm stuffed. I'm uncomfortably full, and I think we still have more sandwiches.
We do.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm out of practice.
Are you
guys.
ready for this?
I'm out of
Yeah,
practice.
wait, you're getting your mind blown.
Okay.
All right, blow my mind, and then,
I can't
gotta
figure
throw
this
up.
one out. So when you hear of bears hibernating,
Yeah.
what is your impression of what that means?
I guess that they go into a cave, fall asleep, and like 2 months later, they emerge from the cave all like that. That's how I always pictured it. But I may have watched a lot of Yogi
yeah,
Bear.
I mean, I think they enter a sleep or a sleep-like state where they're
Like they go into their cave in like November, go to sleep, and then in like February or March they wake up and come out, right?
That's what I pictured.
Yeah. That's what we were always told. Total lie.
What is it in reality? Guys, you think people remember that we're not just guys eating sandwiches, but we're actually a law firm that handles injury cases?
You think the podcast has gotten so big they forgot about our roots?
Have they forgotten about this man, 45 years on the television, telling people that we don't get paid unless you get paid? Do you think they know that?
Tell them.
we don't get paid if you don't get paid.
There you go. You've been hurt? Call us. Now back to the podcast.
When you hear of bears hibernating,
Yeah.
what is your impression of what that means?
I guess that they go into a cave, fall asleep, and like 2 months later, they emerge from the cave all like that. That's how I always pictured it. But I may have watched a lot of Yogi
yeah,
Bear.
I mean, I think they enter a sleep or a sleep-like state where they're
Like they go into their cave in like November, go to sleep, and then in like February or March they wake up and come out, right?
That's what I pictured.
Yeah. That's what we were always told. Total lie.
What is it in reality?
Nothing even close to that.
What is it in reality? Blow my mind, because
so-
you're off to a good start.
What I'm amazed by is, at least of our age, that's what everybody was taught. So
you know,
here's
were
what
we taught that, or were we just watching cartoons?
that's. How about this? I think we were taught that, but everyone of our age and older
Believes
and
that.
yes, that's just sort of what it means. So bears in the winter, their system goes into sort of a suppressed state. You know, their metabolic system is suppressed. They don't move a lot, but they go into their cave. They do stock up, eat a lot, but they sleep for periods of time, but they regularly get up. They generally stay in their cave, but they will mostly they'll eat, they'll drink, they'll go to the bathroom. They're awake and moving around.
It kind of makes sense.
will
You
they-
have to
Yes.
go to the bathroom,
Well,
right?
what will they eat?
I guess either they've brought stuff into their cave or they'll go around near their cave. But if you think about it, what kind of living animal could not eat, drink, or go to the bathroom for 3-4 months and live,
Well, hibernation.
especially a mammal?
Well, but like a camel's water, how long will it last?
Now I don't believe anything. 6 hours. Who knows?
So you could tell me 6 hours, you could tell me 6 weeks. The truth is we don't know.
I was just amazed. I don't remember where I found that out, but just the whole myth of hibernation. They're awake. They sleep a lot, but they're awake.
But you think they actually leave the cave?
They sometimes
little
leave the
bit.
cave.
They need
Not a lot,
groceries.
but they
let
sometimes
me
leave
ask
the
you a
cave.
question. Okay, let's assume they can store food.
Yeah.
How do they store water? What do
Well,
they
they
have
eat.
little
No, they
cups?
drink. I
Where?
think
They leave the cave?
Maybe,
Yeah, they must.
maybe in the cave they may have a little.
They
fountain,
don't
little
need-
fountain.
Yeah, they have a little
Well, you
water.
find that every time. Don't you picture when you're in a cave? There's always the sound of dripping water.
yeah, that's true.
There's always the sound of dripping water.
Could
So they
just be
just go
pulling
there, they
springs.
drink it.
Wait, I'm not sure every time I've been in a cave that I've heard
No,
the
you know
sound
that's
of
what you're
dripping
picturing.
water.
that
It's like-
cavernous sort of echoing sound of dripping.
You know, it's
I've
like-
seen movies where there's water in caves. but
Listen.
I can't imagine every
It's like
Why would
when
they-
I picture
that's
your
what they base it
shirt.
on.
When I picture your shirt at mealtime, I picture lettuce and condiments on the front of it,
Yes,
like
this
there
is-
is now.
You know,
but that
get-
doesn't
get
mean
it
that
in, get it
every
in.
time it's there.
No, there can't be.
It's the same kind of thing.
They don't have a source of water in the cave.
I mean,
now,
a lot of
maybe
caves
they
have
get
a
out
source of
and-
dripping. There's usually
Right.
dripping.
I don't think they need much water. I don't think they need much food. I don't think they need to go to the bathroom often, but I think they need it. And
Where did you get this information?
Oh, believe me, I didn't believe it. It is what I am giving you is factual.
How did it
done
get
his-
into? How did you even get on
I
this?
don't remember where I first found that we had
And
been
is this
told
true?
the big lie.
Is this true of all bears, or just like grizzly bears? Do polar bears hibernate? Do panda bears hibernate?
I don't know.
How about this?
You know what? That's the problem with knowing things, because as soon as you start to try to learn, you realize that there's so much more that you don't know, and then
Do
you
we have any
realize
more
you don't know
sandwiches,
anything.
or are we done? Oh, we got one more.
And there's no way you can tell if
Two
what you're
more?
learning is even true anymore.
Right.
Oh my God.
Because the internet
What is
has
this?
dropped so much crap.
Oh, that's a euro.
You know,
You
let me
gotta
lie.
try
I got
that.
a controversial question for you.
Okay, I like that.
How would you feel if we passed a law? Listen, I'm all for freedom of speech, as you know this. I do think the spreading of false information is one of the diseases on our society.
Yeah.
Why do we not offer either criminal or civil? I guess civil are out there, but why are there no penalties for the dissemination of false information? Why is that not in and of itself a crime?
Well, listen,
freedom
why do
free
you spare
speech is
no
not.
responsibility?
freedom of speech.
Well, no, but free
no,
speech is
no.
not absolute.
No,
Like,
I
you
know it's
can't-
not, but like right now, there's no law that says if you post on social media something that is false, you can get in trouble for it. There's nothing that says that, and I think there should be. I mean, I don't think people should just be allowed to share whatever they want to share without any checking, without any verification. We are a very stupid society now because you cannot trust anything that's being
Right.
put in front of you.
Maybe the answer is not individuals, but maybe the platform. Because with AI now, there is no excuse. They could much more easily regulate. Facebook, Instagram could really do a much better job of regulating the content. Or, there's this litigation over, some of the things that happen in video games like Minecraft and Roblox.
Good euro.
And, because what'll happen is they sell it as safe, but then there'll be, old men talking to young kids in these chat rooms. All of that could be so easily solved with AI today, yet they don't. And so what you're suggesting is I think they could police it better platform by platform without infringing on free speech.
Don't you think there's a lot of people in our society who wouldn't want that?
Yeah, the
I couldn't
pedos.
give a rat's patootie.
Who do this on purpose?
Of course they do. And they're just like there's a lot of criminals that wish that it was okay to just go into the stores and take whatever you want, put it in your pockets. But you got to have rules that a society can function under. And a society will fail if you cannot trust the information being disseminated across the platforms.
Well,
you need truth.
I think that the destruction of truth was intentional for this very purpose. I think other countries got involved and disseminated all sorts of misinformation so that nobody knew what to believe anymore, and it destabilizes.
It does destabilize it, and we're very unstable right now. And quite frankly, it just bothers me. It bothers me reading so many things that are factually inaccurate, provably inaccurate, factually inaccurate. I'm not looking to, if people want to spout their moronic opinions, I'm not going to stop them, whatever. We all have a right to do it, I supposedly. So be it. But I draw the line when you're sharing information that's factually false and you're passing it off as truth. Period. It should be a crime. Why shouldn't it be? It's dangerous.
Because
it hurts society.
Because the people you want to take action are often the very people that are thriving on the misinformation.
I know, but the people need to rise up. I mean, the reality is we have a law that says that people can't walk across your lawn, quite frankly, without your permission, and that hurts nobody. But people can go across and all over the internet and deliberately, and not even deliberately, it could be accidental. I don't really care if it's on purpose or not. If you're spreading out information and it is false, you are a danger to society, period.
Did you see, speaking of
What is this
can't
one?
walk
I'm gonna
across
wait,
your
get-
lawn?
That's the filling.
Did we get
This looks good.
just the last one? Because this is like sandwich number 5.
Yeah, this is a lot. This was a big day.
I have a lot to say about this place.
This place is outstanding.
That's what I have to say about them.
It really is good.
You know, you did say something that I think we may become very important in the future when the people rise up.
They won't.
Well, other countries have.
I know.
You know, the Polish, what was it? What was
Oh
his
my God,
name?
this is
The
also
guy?
good. Lech Walesa?
Yeah, and but there was a whole movement in what was that, Poland?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gdansk and all that stuff. And then, you know, the French have been famous for years for having these general strikes.
Yeah, what was that? There was something
It's just
uprising.
not part of our culture.
Well, I'll tell you,
We're lazy.
I think we are moving toward a inflection point where either we will,
That may be. I don't know if that's the best, but that's up there. That's really
Damn
good.
good.
The meat's
and make
very
things
good.
better, or we won't, and we're going to lose everything, I believe.
Well,
I don't know what losing everything looks like.
I think you can pretty much, you do.
I kind of feel like in some ways we're there.
no, it's no, we're not anywhere close to there.
I think we're
Because for the most part, in everybody's day-to-day lives, things are pretty good.
But things are changing.
Not that much different. Things are changing and changing quickly.
And a lot of the changes are things that you wouldn't immediately affect you.
Right. I don't know, because a lot of people think things are better.
Now, let me say this. No matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, and I know people on both sides, and we all got to get along, but can we all agree that the comments that Donald Trump Jr. made about Joe Biden's cancer and Joe Biden are not funny, not really sarcasm? The Trumps don't understand sarcasm. They use the word a lot. I don't think they understand what it means. It's like inconceivable. You use that word a lot. I don't
Drink
know
something. You know, I didn't see what he said. Although I will say this. Did you see Donald Trump Sr. talking about how
pulling a Terry. I had to leave my phone on because my car's in the shop, not the one that you guys destroyed in the tornado.
Not you guys.
My other car. I had a flat tire this morning. Did you know that? I had a flat this morning. I had to get towed.
You too. Did you see Donald Trump talking about Biden? And no one gets to stage 9 cancer like this quickly. They had to have known for a while if it got to stage 9.
He's doing that, and he was saying, "How does
How does he even come up with stage 9?"
Well, he says, and his wife, is Jill, is a doctor. How could she have had this? He have had this for all these. And had it been picked up, and obviously she's not a medical doctor; she's a doctor of education. So he was just being a jackass. Why pick that moment?
I wonder if he is.
Well, he said he was just being a jackass.
Oh, he said that?
Well, he said he was being sarcastic.
Oh,
that's the time the guy gets what sounds like a potential death sentence diagnosis, and your first instinct as a human being is to let me see if I can make a joke to simultaneously knock Biden, but also his wife, who just found out.
We got to cut all this out. We can't be political.
It's not being political. This is a human conversation. It's not about Donald Trump.
But
it's not about
takes
politics.
Everything politically.
No, but this is a different person. He does not get. Listen, I don't think that the president should get away with the crap that he gets away with, but at least I can say, at least he's the one that hung himself out there, ran for office, and was elected. If he wants to take liberties and say, hey, the people are behind me, they voted for me, he can do that. He earned that position. What the F did his son ever do? Not a goddamn thing. He is a worthless person who has contributed nothing to this world.
Well, this is going back to the previous conversation about misinformation. I think it's really problematic when you have all these news stations that have 24 hours to fill and not enough information, and so they have to report on everything every moron says. And I think that's a real part of the problem is just the amount of airtime they have to fill.
Yeah, well, it's true, but then how do they excuse missing so many big things?
I don't know. I wish I understood how the media worked and what they decide to report and what they don't.
They work like a whore. If they think it'll sell and they can make $1, that's what they go
Well-
with. If they don't think they can make $1, it doesn't matter how
But
important
in
it is.
fairness, they are in business. They're big corporations.
That's not fairness. News was never supposed to be business. That's what went wrong in this country.
That's the problem. That's the problem I think that people confuse. It's not news. Like all of the stuff on, if you look at Fox News, MSNBC,
It's
CNN,
all
any
editorial
of them,
opinion.
if you look at it from whatever 6:00 p.m. till whenever their big shows end, none of that is news. That's all. Those are entertainment shows, opinion-based entertainment shows. That the topic is current events, but that's not news.
But-
and I think a lot of people confuse that.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It is news. It's a distortion of news, but it's presented as if it is factual and it is news. And once you destroy the public's ability to tell what's true and what's not, a person who is charismatic can come in front of people and say things that are lies, and people don't know if it's true or not, but because of the charisma, they accept it as true. And that's when you move into a form of government that none of us want, but I think we're
it aggravates
toward.
me. I get aggravated when people don't accept their own limitations.
Me too.
And the thing is that when it comes to physical limitations, we all kind of as a society accept it. Like I knew I'm 5'7". Society told me I'd never play in the NBA, and I got it. I wasn't insulted by it. They were like, listen, dude, you're 5'7". You're not playing in the NBA. It's a physical limitation. I had no problem accepting and acknowledging it. But when it comes to intellectual limitations, there are some people that are learned, that are studied, that are born with great intelligence, and they cultivate great intelligence.
We, as a society, think they're morons.
And the second, and the second you want to tell somebody, listen, this person's opinion means something because of their education, their background, and all that goes into it. And your opinion doesn't really mean anything because you're just saying something off the top of your head.
Yeah.
I know we tell people everybody's entitled to an opinion, but the reality of it is we don't weigh them all the same because this person doesn't know anything. And what gets me is seeing these people online. And all I say to them now, because I troll, is just where is your degree from? Where did you go and when did you graduate? Because, and I don't mean to make them feel bad, but if they're going to hold themselves out like they know something, I need to know, who am I listening to here? Because the reality of it is people, they don't know anything.
But that stuff's entertainment also.
Yeah, but it is entertainment for us if it wasn't so angering. But the thing is like, if you weren't a great student in school, you know who you are. If you were like the kid in school who you struggled, you never quite got it, you saw these other kids that seemed to nail every class, straight A students, they got it. Just know, nothing magically changed. You didn't wake up one day and become smart. Like, things did not click. You are the same person
You're not
you were
out there
in elementary school, in junior high, and high school, and college if you went. Like, that's basically just like me being 5'7".
Right.
That's not changing. People don't accept their intellectual limitations. You're not one of the smart ones. I'm not talking to you, obviously. I'm talking about the people that are on these videos. And I'm an ass for saying it, but why? How is it any different than them telling me I'm 5'7"?
You think they're the people who, like, you ever see the people who, like, get a head injury and then all of a sudden, like, they speak with
Right,
a Chinese accent or
like
something?
the movie Phenomenon with John Travolta. Yeah, that's how they act. Like they were terrible students their whole lives.
And then they hit
paid
their
no
head.
attention. They were just getting drunk and trying to shtup everybody in their sight. And then magically, sometime in their mid-30s or 40s, they see a video and now they think that they're as smart as
Don't you realize? You
the
know
rest?
how the phrase that explains that whole thing is they did their own research.
Yeah, people do that all the time. They did their own research.
Yeah, and their research, they read 4 or 5 things online.
I think you're being
and
generous.
Now they are
Usually
smarter.
they read one thing.
They are smarter than PhD.
It's a real
research
problem.
science. Of course,
But it's just-
that's the whole point of this.
But
they've destroyed truth and they've destroyed expertise. Anybody who has a computer today can do a half hour's worth of research
Which they're
on
not.
But that's the real
and read
problem.
and come away thinking, I now know as much as the people
That wouldn't be as
go
big of
to
a
their
problem.
list, that study things their whole lives.
It's that it's then they're given megaphones. where they have millions of people listening
They
via
do.
Twitter and
They
Facebook
do.
and Instagram. Social media really is the bad guy in all of this.
Of course
I mean,
it is.
it enabled all of this.
Everybody
Without
doesn't deserve a platform. Do something in this world. Prove you have something to contribute that's helpful to society.
Yeah.
And then you get a platform.
Well,
but getting a platform first for just every moron in the world to open their mouth on is obviously not healthy.
No, it's
But-
It has not taken
but-
us to a healthy
but
place.
today, if somebody says what you want the truth to be,
That's it. You just accept it as
that's the
truth.
only thing.
I
that makes
want to
these
send a
people
message out to all
famous.
of those morons. If you want to do something good for society, honestly, you'd be better off posting a video of your dog doing something cute. Because that, at least we could all enjoy, put a smile on our face. That actually contributes way more to society than the nonsense that's coming
I'm
out
a
of their
little
mouths.
concerned about the content we're getting in this show. Well, it gets a little
listen,
controversial.
But you know what? I think you could say the exact same thing on both extremes, on both
You
sides.
can, but you know how it's received.
Listen, again, I'm not going to help.
Oh, speaking of,
How things are received by morons when I'm talking about morons is the last of my
Hey,
concerns.
can't we let's take some calls?
Yeah, I
Don't
wish
we
we
have
could.
a phone number?
Yeah, well, we don't. I mean, you
Ooh,
could
let's
write in
take-
your comments.
let's take some
612
calls.
all fours.
do you Let's switch gears away. We got to get out of
Listen,
this.
yeah, okay. You know
let's
what? I
talk
think
about-
what
Let's talk
people,
about AI.
What these
How about
people want
bowling?
is
Tell
authenticity.
what, bowling? You want to
Yeah,
talk about
let's-
bowling?
What's your highest score you ever?
I 194. I never cracked 200. I hit a 194, and I actually did it at the Mad Mothers Against
really?
Drunk Driving bowling.
Wow.
I have no
that was-
idea what my high score is, but I would think it's something in the 160s. Would
Okay.
be my
Not
guess.
bad.
I hit a 208.
Oh wow!
Really, that's pretty damn
Yeah.
good.
But I used to bowl.
My
a
dad
lot.
can bowl.
Really?
Yeah. He's 262 is his high.
You know, bowling used to be everybody knew their highest score,
Yeah.
and everybody bowled.
People stopped bowling
Why'd they stop bowling?
because bowling alleys got disgusting.
That's why.
I think so.
I don't know. When I was a kid, roller skating and bowling were much bigger
Roller skating was
activities than they
great.
seem to be
Or
now.
what about ice skating? Ice skating fun too.
yeah. I skated a lot. and
Everybody I knew, you were a good hockey player.
I don't know about
So
that.
earlier
but,
today, I was on the TMA broadcast. We were talking about poultry.
yeah.
What happened to Cornish hens? Remember in the 80s when that was like a really big thing?
Yeah.
Everyone was talking about, oh, what are you having tonight? Oh, we're serving Cornish hens. Oh, everyone gets their own little Cornish hen on a plate with a little side dish or whatever. When was
Yeah.
the last time somebody even said Cornish hen in your presence?
What happened to him?
Where'd they
5
go?
seconds ago.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's been like 30 years. It was such a big thing. It was so huge.
Are they extinct?
I don't think so. If they
Endangered?
if they are, then we probably
Maybe
shouldn't have
we
been
should-
eating them
Too many of
before
them?
the
Maybe we
time.
should go to Cornish and see.
Is that where
know.
they're from?
I don't,
I don't
know.
know.
Is there a relation between a
hens.
Cornish hen and a Cornichon?
Maybe.
I don't know what that is.
Isn't a Cornichon a little pickle?
I don't know.
No. It's
That gherkin's a little pickle.
Or is it an onion or something? A Cornichon. Isn't it a little like pickled?
you
I don't
little
know if-
pickle.
let's see.
If
you.
anybody out there is watching and knows what a Cornichon is, 612 all fours.
Cornichon.
Is it related to a Cornish hen?
Cornichons are small dill pickled cucumbers.
See?
You ever have a half dill?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not good.
No, it's
Usually
not
about the
good at
length
all.
of a
really
finger.
gotta
You know what
commit.
it is? It's really cucumberish.
Yeah, what it is? Yeah, it is the taste of impatience.
And cucumbers are what I always
Yeah, see
felt-
these little things. You've
Cucumbers
had
are
Cornichons.
watermelons without the front.
yeah. Those look like little gherkins.
Are they sweet or
Are they
No,
are
they're
they
dill.
synonyms with gherkins?
I don't know.
Can you type in what's the difference between a gherkin and a Cornichon?
What's the difference between a gherkin and a Cornichon?
Also, ask what happened to Rock Cornish hen.
Yeah, and don't say that we haven't started season 2 flaming out of the
With a
gate with this
bang.
one.
The
I mean,
difference
come
in
on,
gherkin
folks.
and Cornichon is size and often flavor profile. Cornichons are smaller, typically about the size of a finger, which is an odd way to measure
Like a
something
pinky.
you eat.
Like a pinky.
Tart and crunchy, herbal. Gherkin, slightly larger, a more diverse flavor profile, sweeter or savory variations.
Look
Dill or
up,
gher- do you think
up,
I am the only person today, thus far in the world, who has Googled what's the difference between a gherkin and a Cornichon?
That's
Yes.
interesting.
Let me ask you this: when you started the search,
whole world.
did it have an autocomplete?
I didn't
I'm
notice.
guessing it did not.
Do you think so you think somebody else in the world
There's
today?
so many searches.
I
How
know.
many billions of
No.
searches?
I think actually you
listen,
can.
You've
You're-
come
you're
up
the
with a
one.
unique.
You're the
Ask about Rock Cornish hens. What happened to them?
That's like the white dog
Can
poop
you
from
even
the 70s.
can you even get them? I've
Yeah.
never seen them.
Why don't people eat Cornish hens anymore?
Are they rock Cornish hens?
I don't know. I've never heard rock
No.
in
So
front of
that's
it. I've heard of Cornish game hens.
yeah, I've heard of that.
Oh, they're relatively high price per pound.
Well, I mean,
sure.
so is tenderloin,
And they
but
don't
people are still eating that.
And the perception that they don't offer a significantly different taste from regular chicken. Let me ask you this. I was at a hotel not long ago, and I swam in their pool.
Yes.
And like every public pool everywhere and hot tub, there's a sign that says, please shower before entering the pool.
Yeah.
Do you?
No, of course not.
Does anybody?
No.
Yeah, somebody follows the rule, I'm sure.
No, not that one.
That feels like one of those things that I don't even know why they bother.
I
nobody.
guess it's getting.
I know why they want
you
it.
know, yeah, you want people to be clean.
I think it's the perception of cleanliness. But I mean, the pool has got chlorine or salt water.
Yeah,
Is,
especially public ones.
You know, when I visited my sister in California, they would take the whole, if you have diarrhea, and they have all of these signs before the pool letting you know if you have had diarrhea in the last 2 weeks, you are prohibited from swimming in this pool.
Really?
Yeah. And now, do you think people are being honest about their diarrhea?
No, the pools would be empty.
No, they have to. Who hasn't had diarrhea in the last 2 weeks? What kind of
once
stomachs do you guys have?
in,
That kind of constitution?
In Florida.
2 weeks.
At
Come on.
a very nice hotel, and they cleared the entire pool because some young kid made a duty in the pool.
Well,
and they had to actually drain the entire
It's ridiculous. Just get the dookie out
what
and
was,
just throw a
was
little
that
extra
Caddyshack?
chlorine in.
No,
Yeah,
what movie?
Caddyshack.
Caddyshack?
Yeah.
Where they put the baby Ruth in there?
Yeah.
That was funny.
Duty. And they all ran off like they did the
Well,
Jaws music.
because I think that if there
Is there a real
fecal
danger?
yeah, I think that's where you can
Come
get
on.
some.
Everyone. And meanwhile, have you seen when cruise ships blow sands, they knock out all of the poop into the water, and that's fine. We can all be fine
well,
with
it's
that.
not fine, but it's in an ocean, so it gets diluted.
Diluted for who?
Do
Not
you
for the
know,
fish right below it.
I was once on a nice sized fishing boat
Yeah.
in
must be
California.
nice.
Yeah.
And the guy says, okay, we're going in, but first of all, we have to go 3 miles out. I said, why? He said, we have to blow the tanks.
Yeah.
And we get out
That's the rule,
there,
3 miles.
and apparently tens of thousands of boats are out 3 miles just spewing
Poop.
waste stuff. And
Well, poop and pee.
that can't be good.
Well, hold on. Let me
And you
ask
empty
you.
an entire chlorinated pool for
And they
one
do it
dookie?
every day. It can't be good for
Hold on.
the ocean.
Let me say this. A pool is different. Because it's smaller and there's no organic matter in the
But
pool.
do you
Hold on,
think
let me finish.
50,000 boats
Well,
just shooting
it
out a tank
sounds-
of ooh, pardon me. Poop.
It sounds disgusting to
Have
me.
you seen
It
the video?
sounds
You can watch it
wrong.
on
I've
video.
seen
It's
it.
insane.
But so excrement is often used, manure is often used as fertilizer. So for some living things, it is actually very good and helps them grow, right? Is it possible that it really isn't bad in the ocean and it sinks to the bottom?
I'm not sure.
And seaweed and
How much
ocean plants.
actual human excrement is used for fertilizer?
Well,
it's much more
I don't-
processed than that.
well,
correct?
I think that human excrement is not used for fertilizer.
in many places.
If no other reason, logistics. You know, how are you going to harvest it?
Cruise ships.
Oh,
I mean, they harvested them.
Wow.
Do you know what goes on a cruise ship? A lot of pooping.
that's true.
And when they dump that out, I watched it on video. I'll tell you, I don't think I'm ever going to go on another cruise.
What about going in the ocean?
We know me. I still won't go in there. I don't trust it. It's a gigantic toilet.
Yeah.
Same thing
so
with
I don't
lakes.
know.
People go swimming in these lakes. The lakes
But
aren't
there's
that big.
another
They're
way
toilets.
they could do it.
Well, that's why they tell you if you have a cut, an open cut,
Yeah.
you do not go swimming in a lake or a public
Listen,
pool.
you're lucky to get
and
me
I
in a
think that's
shower.
Wait a
largely the
second,
reason.
That's another. Have you
What?
ever gone to swimming if you had an open cut? In a pool, a lake?
It depends.
Of
Like if I had a
course you-
scratch,
Of course.
I
Of
would
course
not.
you have.
If I
You know
had
how
a-
you know people do? Because you find those goddamn Band-Aids floating to the top. Talk about something to make you want to vomit.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you got a
who's
cookie?
that?
I had to bring my daughter
Oh, we got
to
a
work
special
today.
guest on. You
Can
bringing
we-
her
can
on?
we-
Yeah,
Maybe?
here, come here, babe.
Go ahead, bring her on. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. What do you have?
She's at the age where they're still cute, so she can come on.
Well, come over here and we'll talk about it.
And I don't know that much about Summer's personality.
Here, come here. Thank you. You know, those are cookies too. You like those? Here, come here. You can have a
Why
cookie.
do you want the purple one?
Did you say hi to Ed
Because you
and hi
like
to
the
Papa?
color? Hello.
Different to tongue.
You
Yeah.
what?
But I want.
You want to go?
You want to share your cookies?
Okay.
Is that what I'm
Can
hearing?
you say, bye, sucker?
Bye, sucker.
Oh, God. You
Good.
see how easy
Yeah.
it is to control children when they're that age? They'll say anything you want them to say. Then they get older, they won't
Is
listen
this
to
the
anything.
one you want?
That looks like
Oh,
oatmeal.
okay.
Is that oatmeal raisin? What is that?
I don't know.
No,
You know,
yeah, that's
I feel
oatmeal
like
Let's
this
see.
was.
That is oatmeal raisin.
We
Yeah.
are rusty today.
I've got eyes like a hawk. Oh, my God.
Do you like oatmeal rice?
Not at 290 calories.
Well, that's
You-
for two.
Yeah. How many did you think I was going to eat? You
Two?
that's
Well,
the
I'm
thing
just
is you
saying.
get
Do
into
you-
one, you need the second.
Explain to me why, and I don't mean to offend anybody, and I would love to know an answer.
Okay.
Why are Walgreens, CVS, any pharmacies, why do any of those have human beings working in them? I mean, wouldn't you think that that is something that so let's say you have a human pharmacist who's there to answer questions and make sure everything goes right. I can accept that. But when you have what I perceive to be minimum wage workers with a tray, pouring out pills, counting them, it just seems ripe for error. And I know people, and I'm sure you do too, who have gotten the wrong medication
It happens
in their
regularly,
prescription.
sure.
And it just seems like something that AI and robots could do so much better, so much safer.
Honestly,
you
I think in the
think-
next 5 years, you're going to be seeing that in a lot of
Who
jobs.
do you think? Do you think anybody except a pharmacist can count the pills?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
No. Do you think they do it though?
Yeah, I think the
I
techs.
don't know legally. Do you think they do it? I don't know.
I
think
know
they
for a
do.
fact that
then
they do.
what
I've
do you
witnessed
think
it.
what do you think the pharmacist does then? They don't compound anything unless you're at a compound.
Right. I don't.
mean,
Oh,
what-
they look for interactions before anything gets
right,
approved.
but that's a computer thing, isn't it?
Well, it is now, but historically in the pharmacy
Right, but
profession,
right
the
now,
pharmacist would look for interactions.
if they can count pills, what difference does it? I mean, why do they have pharmacists?
I have no idea. I think it's one of those great mysteries. I
And
have
don't
no
think
idea what
anyone's
happens in a
counting pills
pharmacy
anymore. I
Oh,
think
sure they are.
No, I think they punch
Saw
in.
it the other day.
Yeah, but I think they put it on a thing and they punch in what it is, and it knows how heavy it
No,
should be.
there's a tray, and there's like a little spatula, and they're 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, dumped it into a bottle.
Man, that seems archaic.
Yeah. And I mean, now maybe what it is, maybe the pharmacist hands the correct medication and dosage to that person and says, here's a bottle of 700, whatever it is. Please count 26 of them and put them in this bottle.
Yeah, but then how long would pharmacy school be?
Pharmacy school's 5 years long.
I mean,
it's one
but
of the
you
great
could do
mysteries.
that.
Yeah,
You
but
could
and
do
I don't
that
want to
in-
be
But
little
you got to be able
pharmacists
to
because I
answer the
know
questions and people have about side effects.
Yeah,
and-
but
That's
you
right.
could-
They have to know a lot
but
about
they
how
don't
it
have to have a
works.
pharmacist on duty. You could just have I think first of all, people like going in a store with their people. People you can ask. I think it's probably mainly for sales.
Well, but hold on.
They
No,
don't want
because
you don't want to walk into a store where you're the only human being in there.
No, it wouldn't be that. But what you
I
could
would.
do is you just go up to a kiosk and you almost like, you know how dry cleaners have the big massive conveyors that move stuff around.
Yeah.
You had a kiosk. You enter your name. You show your ID, and behind the scenes, okay, got your prescription, and it comes
maybe
out a
will.
chute.
Maybe it will. It's a sad.
I would
state of
love to
affairs.
know
I
that-
like talking to people.
Remember, pharmacy school is like 5
That's
years
where
long.
we differ.
You know what's also like that is dental hygienist school. I
Well,
think
they
it's-
do all
I
the
think
work.
I think it's 4 years.
Well, because I think it's one of those things where
But why would you need 4? I mean, I don't.
no, it's not.
only,
I don't think it's 4 years long.
I think it is.
I think they.
Then a dental hygienist
somebody
out
look
there,
that up? How long does-
61204.
How
So
many-
I think what's happening is
Seems like a lot of training. That's all.
Because the general interaction you have is cleaning teeth. And you're right. Probably if you were just training somebody just to clean teeth, you could probably go to school for 6 months. But the reality is there's a lot more that they do in rare situations and
Maybe.
probably things to look for like oral cancer.
Yeah.
So there are probably a lot of
Although
things
doesn't
happening.
the dentist, my dentist always comes in after she does
Absolutely.
and looks at my.
But I think
Did you
it's
see?
they're the first
Did you
line of
look it up?
defense.
How long does it take? How many years of training to be a dental hygienist? And I hate to say this.
How many years of
but I
training
could
does it take to be a
certainly
dental
use a
hygienist?
bathroom. How
Well, we're
long are we
gonna
be
wrap.
doing
I think
this?
we're.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we're done.
Yeah, 2 or 4.
2 to 4.
Why would it be 2 4?
Because I'm sure it's like part of a bachelor's degree. There are other courses. But yeah, I think there are a lot of careers that are
Take a lot of
susceptible to
time.
AI. No, I see. Dental, and remember, they do implants. They do, there's a lot
Not
that
a dental hygienist.
I'm sure they play a large part in every dental procedure that happens.
I think there's a dental tech. I don't think the dental hygienist and the dental tech are the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I've
maybe
never
we have a
had-
dental hygienist and a pharmacist on to talk to us about
For another
your
thrilling show.
yeah. I think this one.
Listen, we're getting our sea legs back.
I really
Yeah.
have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, Terry's got to go to the bathroom, folks,
I think we'll
and that
wrap.
brings us just about to the end. But seriously,
never mind.
yappies. Oh God. Well, now we need to
I'm
leave
good to-
for
I'm
other
good to
reasons.
go.
Now we need a
actually.
custodian
Anyway,
and
thanks
a
for
nurse.
tuning in. We'll bring the energy a little bit better next
Yeah,
time.
thanks.
But we can't bring the sandwiches any better than this. Yappies.
Yeah.
Yappies Mediterranean. Check them out. Delicious.
Okay. Bye.
Goodbye.